Welcome to World Briefing from the BBC World Service. At 14 hours GMT, I'm Valerie Sanderson in London.
And I'm Amit Barua in Delhi, where it's 7:30 in the evening. Coming up. Two mosques in the Pakistani city of Lahore are attacked by gunmen. At least 70 people have died. We'll hear live from our correspondent.
BBC News with David Austin. Gunmen wearing suicide vests and carrying hand grenades have attacked two mosques belonging to the minority Ahmadi sect in the Pakistani city of Lahore. At least 70 people have been killed and more than 80 injured. Some worshippers were taken hostage. Alim Makbul in Islamabad has the latest.
One of the mosques has now been secured by security forces. The other one, the firing has certainly stopped, but the police are saying they are still going room to room in the mosque to ensure that all of the militants that attacked it have been killed. But they are also warning that some may have fled, and their warning is that they may also have suicide belts. So a very grave situation, and their most recent figure said that over 70 people had died in the two attacks.
That's the latest BBC News.
You're listening to World Briefing from the BBC with Amit Barua in Delhi and Valerie Sanderson in London.
Once again, the city of Lahore in Pakistan has been disrupted by extremist violence and the sound of gunfire. Gunmen attacked two mosques frequented by the minority Ahmadi Islamic sect during Friday prayers when the buildings were packed with hundreds of people. Live television footage showed both mosques surrounded by police.
It was 1:30 p.m. when the just sermon started, and I was entering the mosque, and there was indiscriminate firing outside the main gate. And then the firing and bomb shells started, and there was everybody was running around. But the Imam asked everybody to sit calmly and pray. This indiscriminate firing and incident kept on for about 15 minutes, and nobody was there from the government side. So everybody was looking for some place to hide, and I went one of the rooms upstairs, and there I kept on hiding for about 2 hours. And there was indiscriminate firing throughout, and there was no respite. And there was bomb shell, and there was chanting slogans, Khatme Nabuwat Zindabad, that means the last prophethood Zindabad, which is the main anti-Ahmadiyya slogan.
At least 70 people have been killed and some worshippers are being held hostage. The police say they are in control at one of the mosques. We'll get more on that from our correspondent in Islamabad later in the programme. Let's return now to our main news. We're going to the city of Lahore in Pakistan, where gunmen have attacked two mosques frequented by the minority Ahmadi Islamic sect. We understand that at least 70 people have been killed. Well, our correspondent in Islamabad is Alim Makbul. Alim, what's the latest?
Well, the first thing to say is that the police say they have both mosques now secured, certainly one of them fully under their control. In the second mosque, they say they're going room to room around the mosque still and the buildings around the mosque to ensure that there are no militants still around. They say that some of those militants have been killed, but also that they have captured at least 2 militants that survived this horrific attack.
And we understand at least 70 people have been killed.
Yes, I mean, really gruesome tales told by witnesses to both of these attacks, simultaneous attacks on 2 mosques in Pakistan's second biggest city at the moment, a few moments after Friday prayers began. So obviously a time when both of those mosques were filled to capacity, and both have a capacity of hundreds of people, we believe. And what witnesses say is that gunmen stormed the mosques and fired indiscriminately. We then heard from police, actually just in the last 5 or 10 minutes or so, that some of the gunmen then took up positions at the tops of minarets and started firing down at police, and then some of those gunmen subsequently blew themselves up in the mosque. So a lot of people dead, but hospitals also saying well over 100 people injured, many of them with gunshot wounds, but some of them also with blast injuries.
Alim, the mosques belong to the followers of this minority sect of Islam, the Ahmadis. Tell us about them and how they are viewed in the country.
Well, this is, I mean, a relatively recently set up sect of Islam in the 19th century, and even the Pakistani constitution considers them to be non-Muslims, and a lot of more hardline Muslims certainly see things the same way. They see them as infidels. There have been attacks by Islamist militant groups on the Ahmadi community here in Pakistan in the past, but never this type of scale, certainly in recent history, to have over 70 people killed. But this is a community that has long campaigned for the right to practice their religion freely. They believe they're being systematically prejudiced against in this country.
Ali Makbul in Islamabad, thank you. You're listening to the BBC World Service with Amit Baru in Delhi and Valerie Sanderson in London. And after a summary of the latest world news, we'll hear more about the Ahmadis, the Islamic sect targeted in the bloody mosque attacks in Lahore. Can South Africa's ANC control its outspoken youth leader, Julius Malema? And a new James Bond book, a new author. American writer Jeffrey Deaver takes on the story of the world's favourite spy. That's after the news.
BBC News with David Austin. Gunmen wearing suicide vests have attacked 2 mosques belonging to a minority sect in the Pakistani city of Lahore. Police say more than 70 people have been killed. Some worshippers have been taken hostage. Gun battles between police and the attackers are continuing at one of the mosques. The attacks targeted the Ahmadi Muslim community, which has experienced discrimination and occasional attacks by Pakistan's Sunni Muslims.
You're listening to World Briefing on the BBC World Service with Amit Baru in Delhi and Valerie Sanderson in London.
More now on our top story, the extremist attacks in the Pakistani city of Lahore against 2 mosques. The main target appears to be the followers of a minority Islamic sect known as the Ahmadis, a community that has complained of discrimination and persecution in Pakistan. There are about 4 million Ahmadis in the country, making up 2% of the country's population. Shahzeb Jilani of our South Asia desk has more.
The Ahmadis are followers of the 19th century spiritual leader Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. They reject the finality of the prophecy of Muhammad, the concept of jihad, and what they see as the politicization of the faith. Until the early 70s, Ahmadis were treated as a distinct but marginal sect of Islam. But in 1974, Pakistan became the first country to declare them non-Muslims through a constitutional amendment. It happened under a democratically elected government under pressure from the country's increasingly powerful hardline Islamist lobby. In the 80s, during military ruler General Zia's Islamization policy, Ahmadis were further declared infidels. They were prohibited from calling themselves Muslim, and tough laws were brought in to punish Ahmadis found guilty of using Islamic words or phrases. Since then, many educated Ahmadis who could leave the country emigrated to European countries. Those who couldn't say they have consistently faced persecution and official discrimination. Members of the Ahmadiyya community have been regularly accused of blasphemy. Hundreds are believed to have died in hateful attacks.